Hello, welcome to another one of my videos. This one I am going to share with you one of my top favorite books. Now this was probably like the third book that I bought back when I started coloring back in October last year. And I love this book. I wish you would come up with another one. It's Animorphia by Kirby Rosanes, I'm sorry if I'm destroying your book. Your name. Anyway, uh, it's about animals, but they morph into. They're in the process of morphing. It's really cool. I really like it. There are some things I don't like. Not enough for me not to enjoy the book. But there are some, you know, cons to this. One of them is the paper is like copy paper. It's very thin. So you have to be careful what kind of media you choose to color your pages. Uh, I always use a piece of cardstock between the page that I'm coloring and the next page so that if it does bleed, it doesn't bleed to it will only bleed to the back of it and not to the next page. Um, but other than that, like I said, just about all the media that I've used, with the exception of coloring pencils, regular coloring pencils, will bleed through. These pages though are very good with water. They are not waterproof paper, but uh, the paper does not. Some of my other books with the thicker pages, if you use water on it, if you use too much water, little particles of the paper starts coming apart. You start seeing it in your brush as you brush it. This did not have this problem with this book, so that's one good thing. Um, uh, because it's double-sided, you know, then it's up to you to decide. Well, do I really want to risk the other side of the page or not? Um, because of that, this one was probably one of the few pages, images that I have that I've actually used just coloring pencils. I only used Crayola coloring pencils on this one, and it still came out really nice. I was really happy with it. And I did that because both pages, both this tiger and the next page, I will someday will color it. I don't know when, but someday I will. So, and that's why I used all coloring pencils. But, as you can see, it came out pretty good with just coloring pencils. Um, Another thing I don't like about this book, not just this book, but a lot of my other favorite authors' books, like Johanna Bashford, she does this a lot, is they leave areas, empty areas, unfinished areas, so you can finish. You can add your own um, drawings to it, which, okay, that's fine if you are a good drawer or if you're an artist. I'm not. I just color for fun and I color for stress relief. So I'm not really interested in filling out those areas. Um, but other people, like my daughter, who's a pretty good artist herself, she'll do it. She will add her own things, even if they don't leave areas like this. A lot of times she will add her own things to her coloring pages, and that's fine. I'm just not one of those. But and I'm sure there's a lot of people like me, just like there's a lot of people like her. Now this is one of my very favorites of this book. Not my favorite. There's too many of them to have just one favorite. I really tried something different with this one. I used gel pens. And yeah, it do have bleeding, major bleeding on the edges, as you can see where I used the heavier. Um, but again, you know, I made sure that any bleeding I had would not stop me from coloring this at a future time if I so choose. Um, but anyway, the nifty thing that I want to share with you that I did is at the tail edges. I use my gel pens and they're very wet. And even if I use my little hand heater to dry it, it still takes forever. So I saw on YouTube, another video on YouTube, a tutorial on how to deal with the gel pens. And one way to do it is you take one of your brushes from your watercolors, a dry brush, and you just brush the ink feathered like this way. You just keep doing that with your brush until no more ink comes along with your watching. You kind of blend it in to where the next color is gonna be, and that's the result. And then afterwards, when it's totally dry, then you can go with the lighter color or darker color, whatever you choose, and blend it into that. And this is the result of it. I was very impressed with myself on this one. And as you can see, I used sparkling gel pens. I like sparkle. And anyway, that is the result that I have. I use coloring pencils and gel pens in this one, and mostly the gel pens is at the edges, and I might have used it over here too, where that red is. I believe I did, because there is a little, well, you can't really tell. I mean, now the gel pens, if you don't put a lot of ink into it, you can get away with hardly, with just a little bit of bleeding through. But on this one, I have to go heavier on gel pens. But again, you know, I figured over here, if I do choose to color that one, I can get around that. I can cover it with paint. You know, because again, this is one of those that you gotta finish it yourself. But I have seen it colored by somebody else, and they didn't finish. They just colored it, and it still looks really good. So you never know. I might do it. I might go back and do it. Then I did this owl, and again I used regular Crayola coloring pencils and gel pens. That's mostly what I use in both of these. And yeah, I have minor bleedings here and there, but again, I probably will not go. I probably won't do this page because you know you gotta put in your own stuff. But you never know. I change like the wind too sometimes. So, and here's my octopus. Now this one I used acrylic paint. This was, if I remember correctly, was my first attempt at acrylic paint, or my second attempt. I don't remember. And I did a wash. I did a wash throughout my whole octopus. You know, a wash with acrylic paint. You just put a little bit of, you mix some water, quite a bit, you know, enough water to just really water it down. Then you just do a wash, because and it doesn't matter if you have shading areas somewhat more than others, because it's just a wash. Because after the wash and after it dries, then you can go back and go over it with your pencils, and it works really well. And this is not the way I wanted, the way I envisioned it, but it's the way it came out, and I was a little disappointed with it, so I stopped doing it. But I will go back and finish it. Here I used some gel pens, and, you know, and again, you know, the gel pens bled a little bit here, but again, it's not, if I decide to go and do this, I can still do it, because the bleeding is minor. And then I have this, the rooster. This was probably my first rooster that I had to color. And if you watch my previous videos, you know that I did one recently on exotic chickens. And there's a legend to my obsession with roosters. And I told it in that video. So if it's not something you would enjoy, you might want to check it out. Now, in the rooster, I used again mostly coloring pencils, with the exception of gel pens on its head. And I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but I used the same technique that I used on my fish with the gel pens, and then I just feathered it into towards the middle, and then went over it with a pencil, coloring pencil. And I like the results. I think came out pretty good. I do have some major bleeding on this side from my gel pens, because again I got gel pens right there, and I tried to blend it something in there. But anyway, again, if it didn't do enough damage that it ruined this lizard for me to do if I choose to do it. That is the end of my video for this book. I hope you enjoyed it. If you liked it, press the like button. Give me a like. And if you haven't subscribed and you think you would like to see more of my videos, just press the subscribe button. Until next time, you have a great day. Bye.